Hello, welcome, and thanks for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Gumansing. Topping our newscast tonight, Governor deJongh pardoned Senator Alicia Hansen on Wednesday as she requested so she could seek re-election. The governor, in a statement, said he knew the decision would be a controversial one, but he feels the choice of whether she should be a lawmaker should rest with the people. News 2's Erica Parsons has more.
Senator Alicia Hansen is back on the November ballot. Governor deJongh, in a statement released Wednesday, granted Hansen a pardon for her 2009 convictions of willful failure to file taxes. Last week, the VI Supreme Court ruled that the senator was ineligible to run for office after former senator and St. Croix Elections Board Chair Delbert Bryan filed an appeal. The three justices agreed with Bryan that her convictions constituted crimes of moral turpitude, which under the VI code would deny the senator the chance to run for office. A pardon is the forgiveness of an offense by a head of state, and that's what Senator Hansen and her attorney requested of the governor. After careful consideration, he granted it, despite heavy criticism. deJongh said he didn't question the illegal acts of the senator, nor the decision of the territory's highest court to define those acts as crimes of moral turpitude. What he wasn't comfortable with was denying voters the right to decide for themselves. The chief executive said Hansen's convictions were known and challenged the last two terms, and still voters elected her to office. Election Supervisor Carolyn Falk said she had no comments on Hansen's pardon at this time, and she's waiting for information from her legal counsel on just how to proceed. Hansen's attorney Lee Rohn told the Daily News that Hansen will be refiling her petition for office with the pardon attached.
The statute of the Virgin Islands says that if there is a defect in a petition, then the Election Commission must notify Chucky Hansen of that defect, and she has 3 days to correct that defect before she can be removed from the ballot.
Erica Parsons, News 2.
Now, calls to Senator Hansen for comment on the governor's pardon were not returned by news time. There was no statement from the Senate President's office by press time either. Be sure to count on 2 to keep you updated. In other election news, Charles H. Emmanuel Elementary School will not be a polling site for November's general election. The St. Croix District Board of Elections unanimously voted during a meeting on Wednesday to consolidate more polling places. Officials say voters who use Emmanuel School to vote will now report to the St. Croix Educational Complex. Board officials said Emmanuel School had issues with ADA compliance, and that was the reason for closing the site. The board also considered closing the Alfredo Andrews School, but voted against it. Early this morning, about 4:47 a.m., police on St. Thomas were dispatched to the area of Building 21 in Oswald Harris Court housing community to a reported shooting. Officers found an unresponsive black male victim identified as 26-year-old Keith Roy Keynes in a bedroom in the apartment. He appeared to have been shot at least 1 time to the upper body. The victim has been preliminary investigation reveals that this victim, it was not a random shooting incident. Now, investigation also reveals, according to VIPD, that there were no reports of shots being fired in the area of Oswald Harris Court prior to the call of the reported shooting victim at that location. Police Commissioner Rodney Carrad Sr. stated, "This is a clear example of people becoming immune to the discharging of shots in many of our neighborhoods. Commissioner Carrad is asking for anyone with information to call the Major Crimes Unit detectives." In other news, Naya Henry, 25 years of age, of St. Thomas, was arrested on Wednesday for possession of cocaine and marijuana with intent to distribute. Henry appeared today in United States District Court and was released on conditions, including a $25,000 unsecured bond. Henry was arrested pursuant to a warrant issued after he was indicted by a federal grand jury in a 2-count indictment, charging him with possession with intent to distribute marijuana within 1,000 feet of a school on January 18, 2014, and possession with intent to distribute cocaine within 1,000 feet of a school on January 18, 2014. Now, under federal law, a person who distributes controlled substances within 1,000 feet of a school faces a mandatory minimum sentence of 1 year in federal prison. In other news, police are investigating a dead body that was discovered late Wednesday on St. Thomas. According to the Daily News, police were called to a home across from Mountain Top around 4 p.m. where they discovered a decomposing body. Emergency responders helped police move the body, and it's not clear whether foul play may be involved. According to reports, the house did not have electricity. Police have not released any other details despite calls made to the department. Also, police on St. Thomas arrested 31-year-old Jace Clendenin, charging him with possession of an unlicensed firearm on September 1st, about 9 a.m., on a public street in the Smith Bay area. Officers also said the serial number on the firearm was obliterated. Clendenin was placed on $25,000 bail, which he was unable to post. He was remanded to the custody of the Bureau of Corrections. Leon Alfonso Wilkins was also arrested by police on St. Thomas on September 2nd, about 4:30 p.m. at a residence in Old Tutu. Police said Wilkins held a knife to his wife's neck and destroyed furniture in the residence. He was held without bail. Police on St. Croix are searching for 2 suspects who were involved in carjacking in a vehicle in Frederickstead on September 2nd, about 8:10 p.m. The male victim told police that he just left a bar and restaurant just north of Frederickstead town and went to his vehicle, which was parked in a parking area directly across the street. When he was approached by his vehicle with 2 armed masked men in dark clothing. They threw him to the ground, took his car keys and his vehicle, which was a white 4-door Honda CR-V license number CEM 860, and drove off in an easterly direction. The victim was not injured and refused medical attention. Another St. Croix man was injured during an attempted carjacking Wednesday night after 10. The victim and his wife were getting into their car near the No Bones Cafe in Gallows Bay when 2 armed masked men approached them. They gun-butted the victim and attempted to pull him from the car when the victim's wife leaned on the car horn. The suspects ran away and jumped into a dark-colored Toyota Tundra pickup. EMTs treated the victim at the scene for lacerations to his leg. Please call Crime Stoppers VIPD 911 if you have any information that can help police as they continue their investigation. Turn our attention overseas. It's being called the most important gathering of NATO leaders in the history of the alliance. They're facing a pair of crises at the 2-day summit: the standoff between Russia and Ukraine and the threat from the Sunni militant group ISIS. On the sidelines of the NATO summit, President Obama is working to enlist allies to help confront ISIS. He joined British Prime Minister David Cameron in an open making a case for NATO nations to stop the militants' advance because it threatens security at home. The U.S. is already striking ISIS targets in Iraq, and the White House is weighing what to do about the group's stronghold in Syria. On the summit's official agenda is the standoff between Ukraine and Russia. The White House is preparing more sanctions against Moscow for its actions in eastern Ukraine. Be sure to tune in to CBS Evening News for more. And keeping our eye on the economy, more Americans are finding work. Payroll processor ADP says private employers added 204,000 jobs last month. The numbers are slightly lower than July, but analysts say they remain healthy. Now, tomorrow, the government will release its more comprehensive jobs report. Meanwhile, new unemployment figures show people seeking benefits remained at its lowest level in 7 years. Here's a look at the New York Stock Exchange with our stock market watch. The Dow, Nasdaq, S&P all down. The Dow 8, Nasdaq 10, S&P 3. Coming up on News 2, free school uniforms were given out to those in need on St. Croix by generous residents. On St. Thomas, another organization has extra uniforms that were also donated. Details coming up. Governor John P. deJongh Jr. has requested a fiscal year 2016 capital improvement project grant from the U.S. Department of the Interior, Office of Insular Affairs. The $4.4 million funding application was submitted to the Assistant Secretary for Insular Affairs for projects to enhance literacy and education. Grant resources will be concentrated on capital improvement projects necessary to protect public health and safety. By securing this grant funding, he says, we will have additional resources to address some of the most pressing issues facing our public facilities. We'll still need to get some school items. Well, the group known as Parents Matter, they say the last sale day is Thursday, September 18th on St. Thomas. They want to give away these items to those who are in need. They have blouses, shirts, physical education uniforms, shoes, and more that were all donated from many generous residents. Now, they are located presently at the Professional Building in the Fort Christian parking lot at the waterfront, and they will be available every Tuesday and Thursday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. After that, they say the remaining pieces will be discarded and or disposed to other needy sources of the St. Thomas St. John community. For more information, you can call 201-2629. That's 201-2629 for more information. Now, on St. Croix, more than 200 free uniforms were given out before school started at the Full Force Nutrition Club. The husband and wife owners helped to organize the efforts of Team Believe It, several clubs who banded together to collect more than 300 school uniforms. They were all dry cleaned free by tropical cleaners. The leftover uniforms will go to their respective schools.
Organization, we believe in positivity. Right now, a lot of people in the community feel like it's crumbling. Coming together as a group and giving back. If you make $1, even if it's 10 cents, 20 cents, you can give back. Sometimes it's not how much money you make, but what you do with the money and how it affects a next life. Giving someone a smile on their face daily might change their world forever.
Great message there. Well, here's something to mark on your calendar. Although schools have just begun, it's not too early for students to start looking into higher institutions of learning. The Caribbean Counselors Association College Tour with 21 representatives is coming to the USVI on Monday, September 8th. The fair is for the St. Thomas St. John District, will be held at the MCM Center at Antilles School from 9 to 10:45 a.m. And here are just a few of the reps scheduled to attend. The Agnes Scott College, Denison University, Eckerd College, Elon University, Florida Institute of Technology, Florida International University, Johnson & Wales, and Princeton Review, and the University of Tampa, Trinity College. Now, much more. Now, students, parents, teachers, and counselors from all USVI and BVI high schools are welcome to attend at no charge, and we will have more information on the fair on Friday's newscast. 2 new ferries that were finally put into service in early July have been taken out of service and docked at the ferry dock in Cruise Bay since early August. According to an article in the Daily News, Public Works Commissioner Darrell Smalls stated in an interview that it was a legal issue that has been resolved. The 2 new ferry boats, Cruise Bay 1 and Red Hook 1, are owned by the government and operated by the government franchises, Transportation Services, and Varlac Ventures. The 2 ferries are 84-foot aluminum catamarans that can carry about 200 passengers each. The ferries both received final inspections not too long ago. The funding for the ferries are $3.25 million for each. We will keep you updated. The transfer of WAPA's new Midland substations on St. Croix did not take place as planned Wednesday night. Officials say a termination failure was the cause of that delay. Engineers and line crews are working to fix the problem, and they will continue transferring Feeder 8 Thursday night after repairs are completed. Those customers can expect a 15-minute service interruption at 9 while that's being done. Outages are also planned for customers on Feeders 9 and 10 before that, while they are transferred to the new substation. At 7:30, customers on Feeder 9 will experience a brief outage, and at 8 p.m., customers on Feeder 10 will also be without power for about 15 minutes. Well, if you missed it on Tuesday night's edition of Talk 2, more from WAPA's CEO Hugo Hodge on alternative energy. What is being done to explore new sources of energy? Hodge discussed some of the changes in store for the power plants.
We'll add some new generation, but at first we're going to replace ones that have been retired. So we've already replaced or retired on St. Thomas, Unit 12, Unit 11, Unit 13's boilers. We'll replace them with some new generation. As a matter of fact, the legislature, back when Senator Dow was there, approved legislation for the gas tax, so the 14-cent gas tax comes to WAPA and allows for purchase of new generators without going straight to the rate base for it. Now, of course, the ratepayers buy gas, so they indirectly pay for it, but not through the electric rates.
Now be sure to tune in to Talk To. It's a powerful subject-driven talk show covering politics, education, the economy, crime, and current events. It airs Tuesday nights at 7:30 p.m. only on CBS TV 2. In some sad news, family and friends are mourning the loss, and Governor John P. DeJongh Jr. expressed his condolences to the family and friends of the late Angel Carnero, who died suddenly on August 26. The governor said Mr. Carnero was a remarkable and memorable Virgin Islander, a man who served this territory admirably, both professionally and personally. Mr. Carnero may be best remembered for his staunch support and involvement in the region's horse racing activities. He served on the St. Thomas-St. John Horse Racing Commission and owned a number of championship horses. Mr. Carnero also served on the Virgin Islands Boxing Commission for a number of years and a well-respected employee of the Virgin Islands government for decades. Condolences to the Carnero family on behalf of all of us here at CBS TV 2. Well, be sure to stick around. Your News 2 AccuWeather forecast is coming up next.